Hi everyone, it's Kerry. It's been a while since I've popped up a video, and today we're going to go back to our stash tags and I'm going to show you how to create these ones. But before we get into that, I just wanted to share this one with you. So this is a digital freebie available to you to download now on our website. The website address is just here on the page, but there'll be also a link in the description box below. So this is a little bit of a celebration for us because we are launching our digital designs. So you'll start to see more and more of those popping up in the shop. This one was designed by my sister, Rennie. Hi, Ren. And she's done a really great job. I can't wait to show you some of the other designs that she's come up with. We'll be releasing them at the beginning, we'll be releasing them this week along with our boho and gypsy kits. So really excited about that. So pop over and grab your freebie and we'll get into the tags now. So to embellish this tag, I've used a napkin image and I've just decoupaged her onto my tag here, but I've prepared her a little bit beforehand. So I actually have a video which I'll link below showing you how I prepare and some tips and tricks for using napkins for decoupage, but I'll just quickly explain to you what I've done to get her ready. So when you select your napkin image, usually napkins are 2 or 3 ply. This one happens to be 3 ply, so you have to separate the very top layer which has the image printed on from the layers underneath, and once you've done that you end up with this very sheer top layer with the image on. So if I wanted to use that now on top of my tag, which I have here, if I put that straight over the top, you can see that the text and the music is still quite visible underneath, and sometimes that's a good thing and that's the reason why we decoupage. But when it's a face or some other detailed image, you might want to block that out a little bit more so that the image isn't obstructed at all by what's going on underneath. So to prepare my image, I've cut her out, or I've actually torn her out, and then I've backed her onto a piece of, it's a 40 GSM paper, so it's thicker than a tissue paper, but it's given her a nice opaque base to sit on, so that text is very slightly visible through this image, but it's only very faint now. So I'm just going to attach her onto my tag with some glue. And now that I have her attached on this thicker paper, the napkin isn't anywhere near as fragile. If I tried to use a glue stick on the back of this napkin, it would tear very easily. So I can actually add my glue stick straight onto the back here. And then I just choose where I want her to be. And I don't mind that there's bits hanging off the edge of the tag because I can trim those off afterwards. So I pop her down there. Now to make her look like she's blending in and is part of the tag, I want to layer over the top with some stickers. So I've got these flower stickers here which I've just laid over the top of this little girl, and it just adds a little bit more depth to the tag, so it looks like she's sitting a little bit back further. These flowers are on top. So I have some Kaiser Craft sticker sheets here. Now I love these sticker sheets. They're massive. They usually come with some kind of sentiments. These are usually big long border strips which you could use on a 12 by 12 scrapbook page, but I actually like to cut these apart and use smaller parts of them. So I want to pop some flowers above her to make them look like, or to make her look like she's sitting back a little bit. Now I've already fussy cut this out of this big border, and my fussy cutting is very haphazard, and I'm just going to go around the edge with a little bit of ink just so it's not so bright stark white on my tag. And then I decide how I want it to sit. Now if I have that like that, when I cut the tag off I'm going to lose all the leaves, so I might pop it around the other way and That can sit there like that. And when I finish decorating my tag, I'll go and cut all the excess off the edge. So I've also fussy cut out this bigger flower here. And if I want to sit that on here, it's quite big. It's going to take up a fair amount of the room. So again, I'm just going to ink around the edge to make the whiteness disappear. And then I just really want the bud of the flower to be showing, so I'll stick that there, and then all of this extra piece will be cut off. If you've got another flower or something on this cut off piece, you can always pop it back onto your sticker sheet and keep it for another project later on. Now, I didn't stick my book plate on behind her, so I might actually, instead of having a book plate, I might just select one of these little decorative elements, and I might just stick that on separately, just inking around the edge. Do you want it that way or that way? We'll go that way. There we go. So that just looks like a little decorative element on there now. So once everything is adhered down, if you turn your tag upside down, it's a lot easier to find the edge of your tag, and you just snip away all the excess. And then to blend it back into the tag, just go over the edges with your ink. There we go. Now you can add a little sentiment or something else if you like. I'll just have a quick look and see if I've got something here. I do like these little numbers, so I might just add a number on here today. And where will I put it? I think I'll pop it down the bottom. Yeah, we'll just pop it there. There we go. Now, as I did with the other tags, I take my project over to where I keep my ribbons and fibres for the top of my tag, and I've selected some ribbon that goes with my stickers here. So I've got a nice pale pink, a light brown that matches my craft, and then just some plain Sari Silk. And I'm just going to pop a little metal finding in the top of the tag like I did with the other ones. If you're interested in these little metal tags, I actually have a link, I actually have another video where I explain a little bit about these, so I'll pop the link to that video in the description box below as well. So it's really quite easy to add a decoupaged image onto the tag, and because you can place this anywhere you like on the tag, you can get a unique look even with if you were using the same image. So that's that one. So with this tag, we've actually added some additional texture. So I've got some lace doily here, and I've got some texture tape in the background. And this is on top of our already textured collaged background. So when you collage a tag, you're adding texture to it both physically and visually. So when I feel it, I can feel the different layers of paper. It's not very dimensional texture, but it's still there and you can feel it and you can see it. So if you wanted to start adding more physical texture on top of it, it's going to get really very busy very quickly. So if I was to add this texture tape on top here, and then I was to add this lace on top, now I haven't coloured this, you can see that there's just so much going on there. So you've got the background texture, you've got the lace, you've got the texture tape. You can't really see the music paper because of the way that I've layered that on there, but it's too busy, there's too much going on. So to be able to then add even more texture on top of this texture, I need to dull this background texture down a little bit and force it back down into the background. So to do that, I'm just going to add a little bit of gesso, and I'm just going to use my finger and just randomly run it along places, and I'm sort of not rubbing it in till the paper starts to peel, but I'm just rubbing it so that I don't get a harsh line where the gesso stops and starts, almost like if you were blending your makeup. And I don't want to block everything out, but I just want to give it a bit more of a neutral look in the background there. So you can see by adding that gesso, I've really dulled down all this text and music and even the colour of the craft. It's still there and it's still visible, it's just not as prominent as it was before. So now if I want to go and add some texture tape, so here is some texture tape. It's basically like a paper tape that has all these holes punched in it. It's got a lining on the back so you can separate it, and this part is adhesive. You can actually use this leftover backing as a stencil, which is pretty cool as well. So because this is paper, I can add ink or paint or whatever over the top of it, and it accepts it very, very easily. So I've just got some Distress ink here, and I can just brush it over the top, and you can see there that that's taken that colour really well. So this is the image that you'll get if you use the lining paper as a stencil, so that's pretty cool too. So this texture tape is available at Lowe's if you're in America. If you're in Australia, I do have this texture tape in my store, and I'm sorry if you're elsewhere, I'm not sure. You might have to just Google it. So I've already coloured some. When you tear this tape, it tears very easily. You can tear it straight and you'll get like a nice straight line, almost like it's being torn along a perforation. Or you can actually tear it so that you're getting, you know, a bit more of a different look just by moving your fingers the way and changing the way you tear it. So you get a different pattern there. So I want to add some of this texture tape onto my background, but I don't want to just stick it on in a line. I want to give it a little bit of variance. I've got some over here and some over here and some over there. So this is where it's been cut, and I don't want that to show up, so I'm going to make sure that's hanging off my tag, or I'll tear it off beforehand. So I'll just tear that bit there. That looks a bit straight to me, so maybe that piece can go there. And that piece can go there. And a piece down the bottom here. So I think that'll work. So I just pull the backing paper off, and it is adhesive, so it'll stick straight down, I won't have to worry. Now this is the piece with the straight edge, so I'm just going to make sure that that hangs off the top, so I can trim that bit off afterwards. Okay, so I've added some more texture into that background, but because the text and music paper in the background has been dulled down, it's not looking as super busy as it was before. But I'd still also like to add some of this lace. Now I've left some space between my texture tape, so I can utilise that space to put my lace down, and because I'm not layering too much over the texture tape, it again is not looking too busy on there, but I also don't want it to be just straight up and down, so I'll manipulate it when I glue it and just give it a little bit more of a shape, something like that. This is very white, so I'm just going to add some colour to that using my distress ink, my distress oxide, sorry. And I don't want it all one tone, so darker bits here and there. And I'm going to use hot glue to glue this down today. Now, because this tag will be so textured, physically textured, I probably won't use this in a pocket because it will catch when I'm popping it in and out of the pocket. But if you wanted to just add it to a page or clip it onto the side with a little bulldog clip and have it like a floating tag, then it will be perfectly fine. You can always leave the back blank for journaling. So I'm going to start popping just a little bit of glue, and if you're using hot glue, just be careful that you don't burn yourself. So I'm just going to pop that one there. A little dab of glue over there. I'm just going to trim this bit off here. And I'll pop that one there. Then I'll just add a tiny little bit of glue to secure these little bits that are flapping around. I don't mind if it's a little bit loose here and there because I think that adds to the texture. And just trim that little bit of extra tape off the top. So there we go. The tag is quite textured now, both physically and visually, but you can still see little bits of everything that's going on. So you can still see the text here, you can still see little bits of the music poking through. The texture tape is adding another dimension, and then this very textural soft lace on the top. So to that I'm going to add my butterfly stickers, and I just lay them out on top first to make sure that I'm going to be happy with how it looks visually. So if I pop them like that, I think that will be fine. Now these are actually stickers with a backing, so you can peel these off and adhere them straight down. Because I'm adhering them onto this lace, which is quite textured, I'm not even going to bother taking off the backing, and I'm just going to add a little dab of hot glue into the middle and just use that to adhere my butterflies today. So there we go, I'm happy with those. Just get rid of all those glue strings. And I'll add my little specimen label. I think I want to pop this one here. And then I'll just need to re-punch my hole in the top of my tag. So you can see these stickers are very glossy, and I wanted them to be matte, so you can see on these ones that that glossiness is significantly dulled. So to dull down the glossiness, I've just used a matte medium. You could probably use any brand, and I've just taken a small amount Oops, a little bit too much there. And I've just used quite a bristly, soft bristly brush with lots of bristles. And then I'm just pouncing it over the top. Now you want to make sure that whatever type of matte medium that you're using is one that dries clear, because you don't want to end up with a white film over the top of your butterflies. If you use brush strokes, I think they show up more, whereas if you just pounce it on, it gives it sort of like a stippled look. There we go, so you can see how that's already started to dull down that really bright glariness, but once that's dry, then you won't see those white milky sort of film on the top. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'll leave links in the description box below to everything that I can, and I hope you pop along and don't forget to get your free digital download. And I've got one more tag left to do in the series. I'm hoping to get that video done this week as well, so look out for that one if you're interested. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.